Feels so childish.
Still puts a smile on my face, even now.
A car so special that it had a garage purpose-built for it before the owner actually had the car. This is Pasco's TVR Griffith, but you seriously need to wait to see what's under the bonnet. Welcome back to Resto Revival. I'm your host, Will. Let's get into it. Pasco, here we are. Thank you for joining me.
You're very welcome, Will.
Tell us what we have in front of us.
We have a TVR Griffith 500, built in 1998. Not very standard now compared to how it was in those days.
Yeah.
So we've looked at lots of various things over the years of my ownership, which is now something like 22 years. I brought the car in 2005, and it's been something I've always aspired to since I was in my early 20s, I think.
Amazing. So take us back then, because there's quite a long history of you wanting a Griffith in particular, and we stand in front of your garage, which was actually purpose built to contain a Griffith. So yeah, take us back to the year 2000, building a garage with one car in mind. Why the Griffith?
Well, it was always for me the car of my dreams. It's a car that I aspired to, and I knew that once I actually was in the position to buy one, I was not going to be in a hurry to get rid of it. So as a consequence to that, I wanted to make sure I'd have the ability to be able to look after it properly, and as a consequence to that, the dimensions of the garage were built around the dimensions of this car with both doors open. So I wanted to put a pit inside there so I could keep the chassis clean, be able to maintain the car. So basically I found out the measurements of what one of these things would be with the doors open, and then looked at designing the garage for it, and the garage was built around this. I'm always a firm believer in there's no point in having a horse if you haven't got a stable, and I wanted to make sure that this girl had got the right stable, and I think that over the years that's probably been a good thing for me to do, because it's served very, very well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I say, I've never heard of anyone that has built a garage first and then bought the car. So yeah, tell us about how you went about buying, because I imagine if you've bought a garage with a car in mind, you're not just going to buy the first Griffith. So talk us through the sort of criteria and what you were looking for.
Okay, I mean, I wanted something that was relatively unique in colour. This is Montpellier red, and having spoken to via email the guru who painted these cars, who had a lot to do with the painting of the cars at TVR, guy who's known as Gerbil, he actually gave me the components of what this colour is, and then said this is the only one he can recall that was ever painted in Montpellier red. So it's the only Griff. I think it's a British Leyland colour, but I'm not 100% sure about that. However,
the only one in this
he
colour?
says so, yeah. And wow. I mean, there's a lot of cars out there very similar, that like the Burgundy look, Chianti Star Mist, and colours like that. But this car's got the colour's got three parts of pearl in it, and you see it during the daylight, but it's only really when the sun starts to set and you get the reflection of the clouds and in the sky on the paint that you realise that it is different.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was important to me. I wanted a car with low mileage. It had got 19,000 on it when I brought it from TMS in Melton Mowbray. You say I must have gone through a lot, looking at a lot, but this was the very first one I saw.
Really?
Wow. It ticked all the boxes, and I thought, well, what's the point in wasting any more time?
Yep.
The fella there took me out for a spin in it. I didn't want to drive it. I just wanted to sit in the passenger seat and listen to it, and basically enjoy it. I knew what to expect.
Yeah.
I've been a member of the club since probably 98.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I was over fanatical, but I've always been a fan since the mid 80s, when I first heard a 350 wedge. that V8 was just changed my, wow, I still think about it now, how it made me feel as a youngster, well, you know, somebody fairly young.
Yeah.
And that's where it was. I went to the motor show in '94, saw the Griffith, couldn't believe the shape of it. And in those days it was, well, it was very unusual to say the least, but the shape of the wings, this shape here.
Yeah.
Even now I can sit in the garage and look at that, and my wife thinks I'm going crazy, but I just love the shape of the front end. I love the shape of it all, but particularly the front.
Yeah, it's so TVR iconic, isn't it?
They
They just did things that no one ever thought to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, some of that led to them, you know, having some rough years. But yeah, the styling is just something else, isn't it?
It really is. And the Peter Wheel era, particularly the Chimera, the Griff, the Cerbera, and then obviously you went on to the Tuscans and the T350s and the Cigaris, which is that's an absolutely staggering car.
Yeah.
They all are in their own right.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it, and they're all pretty much unique. And contrary to what people might think, particularly the Rover V8 powered motors, they are, I think, very reliable cars if they're looked after.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of TVRs get a very bad reputation.
Yes, our mate Mr. Clarkson put the spanner in the works for a lot of people in terms of, should I buy one? And of course, you know, he decided that it was, in some respects, that they weren't that reliable. But you know, I think if, like anything else, if you look after it, if you service them properly, if you treat them right, they'll look after you. That's always been my philosophy, Will.
Yes. Today's episode is kindly sponsored by Glowsmith Automotive Candles. Since 2018, Glowsmith has been handcrafting candles inspired by car parts such as brake discs, pistons and tyre stacks. From their heritage workshop in Derby, they create candles inspired by the automotive world. And what I like best is that each product has a really cool story behind it. If you visit glowsmith.co.uk and use the code RESTOREVIVAL, you'll get 10% off your first order of automotive candles, or simply follow the link in the video description. Cheers! We'll come on to the engine last, because and I'm sure a lot of viewers will be very excited to see. But talk us through some of the other modifications that you've done to it.
Okay, well, like the old the analogy regarding the horse and the stable, I also believe in that there's no point in going crazy on power if you can't stop the thing. So the first thing I was looking at was the brakes on the front, and although the Cosworth front discs and pads and were adequate, I didn't feel for what this thing could potentially achieve, they were good enough. So I looked at what was available on the market, and AP Racing did a conversion for Cosworths, which was a 330mm disc, a 4-pot caliper. I managed to find a set of these second-hand and pop them on. But what the only negative side of that is that you can't keep the original Griffith wheels, because they're a 15-inch front, and with a 330mm disc you need a 17-inch rim. So I found a decent set, what I considered to be a decent set of Momos, which worked well with the car, the way the car style was, and those brakes fitted in there nicely. Again, Julian popped them in for me.
Yeah.
I then looked at suspension. I think you need handling's very, very important. And again, why go down the road of spending thousands on horsepower if you can't corner, or you can't, you know, it's moving around. The original setup on these were Bilstein, and they weren't too bad, but they were nothing like Nitrons, which at the time was pretty much the sort of, you know, it was getting up there to one of the best sort of options you could buy. Yeah. So yes, did that, transformed the car in terms of handling, as did the brakes. You know, they're very, very powerful. And then I thought, well, okay, let's see what we can do regarding power output, Will.
So the elephant in the room, I guess, is the spoiler. And spoiler alert, it's not factory, is it? So
no.
Talk us through that.
Well, it's funnily enough, first of all, I want to point out that is not the original boot.
Yeah.
So the people who go, you must be crazy, why the hell would you do such a thing like that? I get it, I totally agree.
Yeah.
So I brought a second-hand boot for it, and the reason for that was because there was a fella who used to run a Griff 500 in the racing circuit. I think he was called Griff Monster or something like that. I can't remember. It's way back. And he put an Audi TT spoiler on there on his boot,
Yeah.
and there was a photo that was floating about. And he went as he was track carring it and racing it. He went through a bit of dust and gravel, and you could clearly see how the dust was coming off the back, and that the Audi TT spoiler definitely created and made some downforce by the way the dust was coming off.
Okay.
And I thought, I like the idea of that. I'm going to go down that road.
Yeah.
So I brought that with a view to do that. Then, as a big fan of the endurance series, the racing car, the GTs, the LM cars and things like that, and of course today's world, you look at the big Porsches and the RS Porsches, they've all got these massive wings on the back. I just thought, I'm going to pop one on and see what it looks like. It was only 50 quid, but I popped it on and I actually like it. I think it looks really cool, and I actually believe it does give me some downforce as well. So when it comes to sell this car, which won't be yet, but when that does happen, whoever decides to have it have got the option of the original boot and that. But I wanted to make a statement, and it's certainly done that, and it's created a massive reaction, particularly when you go out to various events. Some love it, some think it's crazy, but I don't mind. It's something I wanted to do, and I like it, so that's the way it's going to stay for now.
And you had the foresight to keep the original boot and you know, modify that one. So, like you say, it's the best of both worlds.
That's right.
And if you want to go back to factory, it's relatively easy to do so.
That's right, mate. Yeah. So, yeah.
Perfect. Well, I think we should look under the bonnet.
Okay.
I'm curious and excited to see, and I'm sure others will be, and you can talk us through what you've done there.
Okay, well, we'll do.
Do you know, I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that. It looks like the engine that builds other engines. It's an absolute monster, isn't it?
Yes.
Wow.
It's still a 5 litre. That's one thing I want to stress about that. A lot of people overbore these to 5.2, 5.3.
Yeah.
When I went down this road of wanting to look at horsepower, my rules of engagement were it had to be still a 5 litre, and it had to be normally aspirated.
Yeah.
So for me that was really important, because it's so easy to get loads of power gains by boring them out or stroking them out or whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, I wanted to keep it as a 5 litre bottom end, and I didn't want to, you know, force induce air into it via a turbo or a supercharger. So that was the rules. So modifications wise, there's numerous, but let's start with the induction.
Yeah.
First of all,
quite hard to ignore.
Yeah, there's a absolutely massive K&N filter right on the front there, and we cut into the side of the wing here. Normally that isn't the case. On a standard 5 litre, it actually goes through there. So we cut through there, and then the big K&N's on the front.
Yeah.
And we'll take it this way. Comes through here. You can see there's no airflow meter there.
Yeah.
An airflow meter, if you want to get anything any more than say 320 horsepower, it can't really deal with it as is with the ECU, in my opinion. So you've got a great big pipe there. The convoluted pipes, or the pipes with the standard pipes. Just by changing that standard pipe, if you've got a Griff 500, it can give you 4 horsepower just by changing that alone.
Really?
That's for anybody who wants to start down this road.
Yeah.
This is a 72 mil plenum. The standard is 60, 67 off the top of my head.
Yeah.
To your plenum. Below the plenum, there's a spacer. It's like made of something like an inert type of material that stops transmission of heat. So that gives you a couple of horses. Down into the inlet manifold, which is massively ground out to allow proper airflow.
Yeah.
No trumpets in there at all. So that goes straight into the inlet manifold.
Yeah.
The inlet manifold has been matched to the heads. The heads themselves were ported and gas flowed by a fella called Peter Burgess, who's a massive MG guy. He's wrote books on the subject of gas flowing heads. So I was extremely lucky to get this guy to be able to do that for me, and that's, for me, is one of the major reasons why this car's putting the horsepower out that it is.
Yeah.
We then have roller rockers in there, which obviously the original V8 Rover V8 ones are okay, but they can't take anything higher than say 5.6, 5,500, 6,000 RPM.
Yeah.
So we went down the roller rocker route. The camshaft in there, sorry, I'll talk about the cam later. Also, we've gone away from the hydraulic followers there. They're solid lifters now, and the hollow monobodium, I think that's how you pronounce it, push rods, which came out of a NASCAR actually.
Yeah.
Down to the cam. The cam's a pretty wild thing from Rob Robertson from V8 Developments. Bottom end is all V8 Developments, top hatted block, cross bolted so it can take a bit of hammering. Various modifications to things like the crank. The pistons are standard, although a little bit of work done to the cups of them in terms of the way they sit. The exhaust manifolds, although they're standard, there's been a lot of time and effort spent in matching them to the actual cylinder heads as well. So that releases, it's all about gas flow, simple as that. It has big injectors as well. We put an Emerald ECU on it. It's running coil packs, as you can see.
Yeah.
There's no distributor, and again, you can run these things up a bit above 6,000 RPM with this sort of setup.
Yeah.
On Julian's rollers, the sort of numbers we were achieving were 375 horsepower. We've dropped it back a little bit. It's probably doing about 360, something like that.
Right.
And then you come to the exhaust side of it. This was Clive 4's Clive F. Many of you guys in TVR know of Clive F. That was the very first one he ever made, and we did the development work on Julian's rollers up in Chesterfield. And the exhaust system is a JP exhaust, which was these were the guys who used to build the exhaust for all of the TVR Griffiths and Chimeras up in Blackpool.
Yeah.
And the guy who run that business, a guy called Tricky, I rang him up and I said, I want you to make me something special, something that's probably a little bit more wild than normal. And he said, I'll knock you up this thing, which he did. It's straight through.
That is wild.
It is. It is fairly loud. I also believe in starting these things up from cold is not good on the engine. So we looked at ways in which we could help it and warm it up prior to actually turning the key. So
Yeah.
I fitted a Kenlow hot start, and
Yeah.
what that basically does is it heats up the coolant water quite a high temperature, and obviously when you fire the car up it's relatively warm straight away, and clearly a lot of the damage is done in the first 5 or 10 minutes of running a car, especially a big V8.
Yeah.
And that's basically where we are.
Amazing. Well, thank you for all that. I suppose we should get out and enjoy the sunshine
That'd be great.
and the soundtrack.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Cheers, Will.
That's annoying the neighbours. Yeah, so I read online that you have to put it in fifth and then reverse.
That's right. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
on the T5 gearbox quirk.
Yeah. I suppose it makes it harder for an idiot to steal it. They'll be fumbling around and you just hear cranking in the gear shift.
Well, they have to spend half an hour working out how to get in it.
Yeah, well, yeah, like
Not quite as bad as a Tuscan now, eh?
yeah, like me and Ian's Tuscan. Actually, that took me forever to get in and out of. have designed this better. This is really TVR driving weather, isn't it?
It's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? What a day to take her out. You couldn't have picked a better day.
No. TVRs have such an evocative sound. You just want to rev them. If there's ever a car to exploit the gap in a traffic. Have you taken it around a track before?
No, and up until about 6 months ago, I'd have said no, I won't do it. But
Yeah.
I do fancy doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see. Clearly, you can't get the full appreciation and enjoyment of this car on the public roads.
No.
You have to be sensible. Blink of an eye, you can be banned. You know what I mean? Just by not paying attention.
Yeah. And there's the brakes.
And now you know why you need the brake.
Yeah. It's just such an angry sounding engine, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's nothing like it's a world away from a standard 5 litre.
Yeah.
The other beauty, of course, with this particular ECU is you've got a selection of maps that you can switch on. And
Yeah.
this has got 3. It's got like a lively sort of performance, and then the thing that's in vogue at the moment is what's known as the pops and bangs map, which I've not switched on yet.
Feels so childish.
Still puts a smile on
Yeah, I
the
was
face,
gonna
even
say.
now, and because you I don't know. For a fellow of my age, it's a bit silly that it actually makes me laugh.
Yeah, but that's what cars are about, right? This is what I'm trying to showcase on my channel. Is the cars that just bring joy to you.
Well, it certainly
Make
does.
you act like a 17-year-old boy in your first car. It's crazy the amount of torque you get, even from third gear.
Torque is it's like right up. It's like 370 pound-feet.
It's unbelievable.
And just bear in mind, this car's weighing in at
just over a ton.
just under a ton.
Yeah, it's just when you put it in third gear there, literally just shoves you, doesn't it? I can see why you kept it for 20 years. It's addictive, isn't it?
It is, and
Absolutely addictive.
you sort of get a feel for if you could like drive that for a few minutes like that without nothing in front of you. This is why all of a sudden a racetrack is becoming a little bit more appealing to me.
Yeah, I see it. Especially when you're stuck behind a crossover going 20 miles an hour.
Absolutely, it's I get it. I do get it now.
There's something about TVRs you have to see and have to experience to believe it. Because they're so raw and animalistic. You good? BMW M3 driver approving.
I didn't see. What did he do?
He gave a nod and a smile of appreciation.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah, that was game recognising game. Just turned you into a child.
I'll switch that off.
Oh, that's brilliant. Such good fun.
And the beauty of it is you can just turn it off.
Yeah, yeah, that's fantastic.
And you can just get the overrun there, because the overrun on this engine is superb. I'll give you an example of that.
Such a visceral experience. You get bounced around, you can smell the petrol, you can hear the absolute roar of the engine. There really is nothing like a TVR.
No,
Nothing
and
like
you do have to question how the hell Peter got away with it.
It's bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah.
A car that weighs as light, if not lighter than MX-5, but a massive 5-litre V8. It's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Thank you for today. It's been a wonderful experience. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you want to hear more stories like this, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.